Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are joined by Joe Blascak and Rich Blascak to go over the EB3 Benefit Booklet Builder. Before we get started, a few housekeeping things. If you have any questions, please keep them in the question box or type them in the question box. We will answer questions at the end of the presentation. Don't forget to connect with us on social media. That's me. That's enough of that one. And I will pass it over to Joe and Rich.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Becky. Good to talk with you. It's been a little bit. So thanks for the intro. And hello, everybody. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day this morning to go over our EB3 system. And big thanks to Cornerstone for setting this up and blasting this out. So as Becky mentioned, I am Joe Blascak. I'm the owner of EB3. Just a quick background before we kind of get into things today. I started EB3. I actually worked for GA for a while, and then I was an agent for quite a few years as well. I had my own agency actually here in Ohio. Sold that a couple years back, but I had my own agency, and one of the big problems that I had was as an agency owner, you know, amongst all the different things that you're doing day in and day out and all the responsibilities that you had was that I went to go build out booklets for some of my clients, and they just weren't up to the caliber of a lot of the larger agencies that were out there that I was competing with business with. You know, short story, I went and I AOR'd a real nice group out in Western Ohio several years back, quite a few years back, and a nice 300 and 400 life group. I went in, I sold them on the different self-funding, HRA properties, and everything that I had put together for them, and they were like, "Man, I love this. This is awesome, Joe." And then they said, you know, as I was getting ready to walk out the door, I had the AOR in hand. I was all excited, and they said, "You know what? Real quick, right before you leave, you know, when we're scheduling open enrollment meetings and stuff, our current agent, who was a big house, they said, you know, they actually produce something like this," and handed it to me and said, you know, nice glossy benefit booklet, and they're like, "Hey, can you?" I'm sure it's no big deal, but you know, can you do something like this? And I'm like, "Oh, absolutely. Yeah, don't worry about that. I got it." And they're like, "Okay, great." And so I walked out to my car, I sat down, I'm like, "Oh crap. There's no way I can do anything like this. This is way above my skill set. I can sit there and bore a company to death, you know, for a week straight on talking about the ins and outs of insurance and self-funding and fully insured versus level funding and captives and all this other stuff, and how to, you know, skin this cat 30 ways to save you money in your company. But in terms of graphic design, that's not what I do." So in that moment, that's where I kind of came up and said, all right, you know, there's got to be a way for us to, there's got to be a system out there that's available, you know, as a standalone system that I can really just jump into and build out a booklet easily. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and I mean, I looked for months. I did what any responsible agency owner does, and I Googled it, right? And I was all over it, looking it up. And any system that I could find was tied to like an HR system or tied to something that gave a bunch of benchmarking details that I really didn't need for my clients. My clients needed, every single one of my clients needed the same thing. They needed the lowest price, best network, best plan available. Every single one of them, hands down. So I didn't need all those additional tools. And the benefit booklet builders, I never really used them, but from the demos I got, they were all kind of afterthoughts. And I was like, man, all right, this is crazy. This isn't available. So I had to go and I had to spend the money. You know, I spent thousands of dollars putting, you know, a nice booklet together with information that I already had. And I'm like, man, if you could just drag and drop, or, you know, drop this information into a system and let it, you know, spit out like something nice, something that really looked good and professional, that would be awesome. But since there wasn't anything available, I decided to just build it myself. Fast forward 5 years, EB3 has grown substantially. We're all over the country, and we don't just do benefit booklets. That's our flagship product right there. We do a ton with benefit booklets, but as Rich is going to show you here in a second, we do professional benefit booklets, and there's a ton of customization within our system. But we also do wrap SPDs, pop documents, broker compensation disclosure forms, annual legal notices, one-click Spanish translations, flip books, and even microsites. If you want to do a microsite in lieu of doing a benefit booklet, you can do that too, all in our system. I was a small to medium-sized agency. You can ask Becky. She and I worked together for a lot of years when I had my agency, and you know, I really didn't want to produce a product that only the large big houses could afford. If the big houses want to purchase it, they can get the benefits, just like the small to medium sized agencies can. But I wanted to price it accordingly as well. I kept all this basically in house. And it's roughly $199 a month. We don't do contracts. We don't do startup fees. We'll touch on that at the end. But as you'll see, as you kind of go through, it's way underpriced based on what you can get when it actually costs, few $100s just to get a wrap or a pop document for one client, and you can build them out for up to 75 clients for $200, per month. It ends up being a really good deal, and that's just one aspect of it. So we're going to kind of walk you through, show you some of the things, but really as you watch what Rich is going to go through, you'll notice that what we're trying to do in the system is solve for a lot of your pain points. So solve for a lot of your formatting pain points. Whenever you've created any of these booklets manually over the years, having a design built out for you initially, we solve for that. Table of contents, page numbers. How many times have you created the table of contents only to have the agency or the company owner say, you know what, I want to add in these few flyers and put them here and here and here, and then you have to spend 15, 20 minutes reorganizing every single page number, or just the color coding, or whatever it may be, or entering the same data over and over and over again from booklet to booklet. There's just a ton of repetition. There's a ton of pain points that go into this. You're going to see that an actual broker built this system out, and you're going to see that it flows just how it needs to flow. And we take care of a lot of those pain points in the system. So that's kind of a little bit of background on why it was created and what we've created here. And like I said, I list the pricing right up front because I believe in being completely transparent. It's right on our website, and we'll even have a link in here for you that can tie you into Cornerstone's pricing model on here too. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our VP of Sales, Rich, and he's going to give you a real high-level overview. If you do have any questions, like was said earlier, just throw them in the chat box here, and we'll stick around to answer any questions after he's done. Rich?
All right. Thanks, Joe. Like you said, I am right in the system, so I am going to walk you through this. And yeah, Joe, just jump in wherever you'd like, sir. So what you see here, we had just created, if we were creating a brand new booklet, it will take you right into the 5-step process here. For us, we're going to use our demo booklet, which is Spider-Man. We have Spidey stuff all over EB3. I have a 3-year-old. Joe has a 6-year-old. So Spidey is hot right now. So when you jump in, step 1, you're customizing your cover page and theme of the booklet. So you can, put in the booklet name. You have the client logo that you can either upload here or when you add a company, if you put the logo in there, it will populate here for you. We have it strategically placed right next to the colors so that you can match up color schemes. You can keep it very basic and go through, choose one of the 12 color options that we have. And as you see, the color scheme will update over there to the right. If you wanted to, you can get very specific and get the exact color that you're looking for by clicking in these boxes and either throwing in the RGB numbers, or what a lot of people will do in our system is click on this little droplet tool here and hover over Spidey or whatever the logo is, probably not going to be Spidey, and you can get the exact color that way. So just a couple different options. Again, you could keep it very simple or make it a little more complex and get the exact color. You can change up different font styles in the system. Down below is where you can select your cover page. So in here, you just click to add cover. Up pops 62 different cover options. So just go through, take a look at all of the different options, see what you like. Click on it, click Save Changes, and then you'll have that one selected. You can make any edits to your cover page right here. And then if for whatever reason that one of the 62 different options didn't fit something you need specific for a client that they're looking for something super specific that's not even in those options, you can always upload your own PDF cover page right here as well.
And what we found on that too, everybody, is that, in your for a lot of your small to medium sized groups, one of the 62 options that we have available works just fine, and they're all completely dynamic. So while this one looks green on here, when you actually preview it or you take a look at it, it actually turns into the same color that you have listed right there. So it's all dynamic in there. But we did want to put in the ability for you to load in your own, just because I know full well that a lot of those large groups that you may work with, that you want to build these out for, they may want something specific, and there's an unlimited number of variations of cover pages. They may want something that has their team on it or their company's building on it. So that's why we do give you the option to upload your own, and we make that front and center right there.
Or like we had somebody last week that they weren't with this company, they couldn't have any people. They couldn't have any actual humans on the cover page. So that was one of the things, and a lot of ours do. We had some other ones with nature, but they had to go create their own to be very specific for that client. Down below that is the back page. The back page is actually geared towards your agency. So this information will pull directly from the profile and populate on here. And then you can also go in and select one of the 17 different options we have for back pages. So you can select that there. You can make any edits here if you wanted to edit any of that. But again, that is a nice little time saver there as well with the back pages. It'll just pull from the profile, including your logo if you have it in there. And then same deal over here. If you needed to create your own back page, you could, and you could upload it here as a PDF. And then finally, in step one, you're choosing the theme of the booklet. Do you want the plain look over here? It's like the grid look. You can just click on it. Or would you like the stock photo theme to the right? And then if you choose the stock photo theme, I'll show you in step 4 where you can choose from several different pre-populated images we have to change up this gentleman right here if you wanted to. And then we also have several different carrier logos populated in there as well for you to choose from. And then on to step 2. Step 2, you're selecting plans and pages. So all we're doing in this step, you're just choosing whatever it is that you want to build out in step 4. You are literally just clicking boxes in step 2. So as you see, we have this divided into 4 spots: plans, pages, legal notices, and compliance. Under the plans, you can see all the different plan options we have. A couple things to point out here. We have a couple of combo pages, just feedback we'd gotten from people in the system. The life, sup life, they were taking up like half a page. So, how can you adjust that, make it better? We just give the option to be able to do that, or the STD, LTD as combo pages. Other thing to note, you see that there goes up to a triple option. We won't show more than 3 options on one page due to formatting and text size. It's just not looking very good. But I will show you in the very next step where you can add or duplicate any of these options you see here as many times as you'd like. Different pages we offer, so table of contents and page numbers. As you're going through, again, and if we're in the next step, and we're dragging and dropping things or adding in a 3-page PDF or whatever we're doing in there, the system is intuitive and will pick up on all of that. You just need to click these if you want the table of contents and page numbers. The system will take care of the rest for you. Also here, there's an election sheet. If you have any need for an actual paper election sheet, you can click this here in step 2, and then if you fill the rates out in step 5, they will write directly to there, and then you will be able to access that on your booklet screen once you're done here.
And that's the election sheet right there too. I mean, if any of you have any of blue collar type groups that like literally just refuse to get on Ease, Employee Navigator, Bernie Portal, whatever it is, and you have to sit there. And I used to have to manually create these election sheets. One of my larger manufacturing clients, they wanted paper election sheets, so they refused to get on and do go on and do electronic enrollment, which was absolutely crazy. But that's what they wanted, so I had to manually create these out. Well, with the EB3 system, all you have to do is just click the button. You can customize it a little bit in step 4, but then all the payroll deductions are automatically added in the election sheet, and it automatically adds in a waiver box, the ability to mark down what you want exactly. It makes it a nice enrollment sheet that, instead of, using each carrier's application or whatever, you have all the information right there, and you can have your medical, dental, vision, life, disability, accident, critical illness, all that in one spot and basically done for you.
Thanks, Joe. Underneath that, we have the legal notices. These are the federal annual legal notices. We don't have the state notices, but we have these ones. You're just, again, checking the box next to whichever one you want to build out in step 4. These are updated for you. So actually by me, I check these once a month. And when there are any updates, I push those through to our development team, who then push them through to the system and to all active booklets. So just something you don't have to worry about when there's any updates done on the DOL. We get all of that is pushed through automatically for you. And then you see that there's, again, the 4 different headings here. You have the plans, pages, and legal notices. Whatever it is you choose to build out in these will actually be part of the booklet outside of the election notice we just talked about. But the compliance documents, so your wrap, POP, carrier termination, and broker comp disclosure form, if you choose to build these out in the system, they will not be part of the booklet. They will be on the booklet's screen for you to be able to easily download. But we have them here so you can build them out same place, same time, same system along the way. And as you see here, there's also a checklist down below the wrap and the POP, just for, a lot of people coming in that, potentially haven't created a wrap or POP themselves. Our ERISA benefit attorney put together a checklist to be able to let you know exactly what needs to be put in there to build these out. Step 3, organizing your booklet. So a few different things you could do here. Like I had mentioned, we don't show more than 3 options on one page. Having said that, if you want to add or duplicate any of the plans from the top of step 2, you absolutely can. You just come in here and grab whichever one you want. So I have a health dual option. If I wanted to show 4 options, I could, do that however I'd like, but with any combination. But let's say I just do another dual option, 2 and 2. You can just add that. It'll go to the bottom, and then you can drag and drop that and put it wherever you want in the booklet. I'll just put it right up under the other health dual option. Change the name of it. Again, that will be reflected in the table of contents. Just by me making that change, that'll save that for me. And then in step 4, you would build out back-to-back dual options to show 4 different options. So there's that. You can add your own PDF. So if you had any sort of carrier documents, whatever PDF you wanted to put in the booklet, you can click that. It will go to the bottom. Click in this little black paper here. It's going to prompt you to go to your computer to grab whatever PDF it is you want to add. Once it's in there, you can drag and drop, put it wherever you'd like. Same deal. You can also change the name of it. And then that will be done. So you won't be building that out in step 4. That will just be a PDF that's already completed. So that will then be done for you there.
And one of the things with the PDFs, we don't have a limit on number of PDFs that you can put into a booklet. We've had some people put in so many PDFs that it's a 50 meg document. It got to the point to where we actually had to create a new concept and a new export for the booklet into a link, just because people kept putting in so many PDF documents of their own, because maybe they were selling 401k or they were selling some PNC products along with this, or whatever they wanted to do that we didn't necessarily have in the system, or they wanted to put in the carrier flyers. Some people like to put in the actual SBCs. We don't recommend that because the booklet doesn't look very good, I don't think. And we have a solution for that in step 2, which Rich will go over. But just to let you know, you can put in as many PDF documents as large as you want. It's, if you are downloading it, it's obviously going to take a little while to download if it's a 50 meg document, but you can also export this to a link just in case you're worried about, hey, what if I put in too many of these? So that's always an option too.
Up over here to the right, you see a PDF library. This is helpful and comes into play if you have any PDF documents you're going to be using over and over as you're creating booklets. You could throw it in there so that you could just easily add it at the, just by clicking one button as opposed to clicking here and having to grab it. Although that's not a lengthy process, we can shorten it even more over here in the PDF library. And it's also super helpful if you have several people in your agency or multiple people in your agency that are going to be using these documents or using the system, you can save everything here for everybody to share instead of a shared drive, or having it on everybody save it on their desktop and in different folders so that if they're off, so you can put it all right here, right in the system. And then the latest feature that we've actually added to step 3 is the table of contents hyperlinks. That's just putting the hyperlink in the table of contents here, so that if you send this off digitally, it just helps you navigate throughout the booklet nice and easy. So you can go to whichever page you want to when it's sent to you, and back to the top, so you can return to the table of contents. And that's step 3. First 3 steps, we spent some time kind of talking about those a little bit, but you're really flying through those. I mean, unless you have some like extreme color scheme that you can't figure out, which we haven't seen that happen yet, but you're really just building it up. Step 1, you're choosing your cover page, your colors, your theme of the booklet. Step 2, you're selecting whatever it is that you want to build out in the booklet. Step 3, you're organizing it, you're moving it around, throwing in some PDFs. And then step 4 is where you're actually building out the plan. You're loading in the plan data. So all of these tabs up here, these are things that you would have either selected in step 2 or potentially added in step 3, again, because you can add or duplicate plans in step 3. But focus here on the health dual option that we have. Here's where the 2 different options show up. And when you select from one to the other, as you can see, it's kind of the different page that shows up with that plan. You have your carrier name, plan name, and then page names that shows up on the booklet here. As we scroll down, you'll see all of this information. Everything on the left-hand side, so this entire column, deductible, single, family, coinsurance, and so on, this will be pre-populated for you. It is all customizable. You can change any of this to whatever it is you'd like. The boxes that you see over here to the left, these are hide boxes. So if you wanted to hide something from the booklet, as opposed to taking it out or writing NA, anything like that in the booklet, you can just click and it will hide it. So if you don't have a specialty tier 4 or 5, you can just hide them as opposed to having them there and writing anything else in there. So you can do that. Likewise, the same idea up here with the out of network. If it's an HMO or you simply do not want to show it, you can click that button. Will hide the out of network, gray everything out. System will expand the in network and make everything just look nice for you. You just need to click that if you do not want to show it. Now, to actually get this information in here, because we're not gonna pre-populate all the information for you, we wouldn't know what that would be. So to get the information in our system, you can actually do it 3 different ways specific to health insurance. You can do manual data entry, come down and key all of this in. You can do a bulk upload. If you want to do upload several plans at once, you could download our Excel template, populate the information in there, and then upload to a plan library so that when you come through to build your booklets, you can grab the plan that you saved in there by carrier name and plan name. Or you could use our most popular feature out of the 3. It's the upload SBC button. If you click this, grab the SBC that you have saved, the system will scrape the data from there and populate the data down here below. So now, instead of doing the full out manual data entry, now you're more or less doing like a review and edit, coming down, seeing if you want to make any changes to what was on the SBC. If you want to hide anything, go ahead and hide it. But once you get this plan, once you upload that, you come down, make any changes to anything that you want. Then you don't have to after that, you won't have to put that, you won't have to upload that SBC again. You won't have to put that plan in again. You can scroll to the top, click to save the plan, click save and next. And then anytime moving forward that you jump in a health dual, health triple option, you'll be able to locate that plan in your plan library based on carrier name, plan name, click load plan, and it'll populate down below exactly how you had it saved. So,
and one thing to note on that's before you continue, Rich, sorry. With the upload SBC, that's obviously only available for medical, just because there's one quote unquote standardized document in the industry, and that is the SBC, summary benefits and coverage. We don't allow that. When Rich even hovers on that box, you'll see there's a little pop-up that says, this is just for the SBC, not benefit summaries, renewals, certificates, or whatever else people try to actually load in this button. And they're like, hey, this doesn't work. And it's like, well, it does. You just have to actually use an SBC. Just because, one benefit summary to the next, from carrier to carrier, you go from, Aetna to United to MMO to Anthem or whatever. Each one of those is set up so differently. We're using this OCR AI scraping technology through a third-party vendor to scrape these. So the only document that we have in the industry as of right now that's that's standardized to an extent from carrier to carrier is the SBC. So that's what we're using. And I will tell you, because we have not a lot of people ask of our current clients. We have, I think we're over 750 users in our system right now. But every once in a while, somebody will be like, hey, the emergency room didn't pop up the right way, or, our RX didn't pop up the right way. And that's just because, even though it's a standardized document, some of these carriers have now taken a lot of liberties. If you take a look at the actual field names, instead of just calling it generic and making that consistent all the way down through, or tier 1, and making that consistent for each carrier over and over, they're calling it something different. So we're using scraping technology to do this. So what I would say is this scrapes it really well. We had over 800 SBCs, 830 some SBCs scraped just last month alone. We didn't have one issue, not one complaint. Did it scrape everything 100% perfectly? No, but it got the job done. It scraped the bulk of the details. And then what I tell people is this gives you the bulk of the information. Just double check it, go in and tweak the information how you want it inside the system, and then click that save plan button. So you're only loading in that data one time. And personally, I'm not even a huge fan of how the SBC even says some of this stuff. As I mentioned, I was an agent, and when the hybrid HSAs came out back in the day with United Healthcare, well, if you took a look at some of the SBCs under that PCP section right on there in the SBC, even though there was a $10 copay that applied after the deductible, it on some of the SBCs, it would still say $10. Well, that's incorrect and 100% misleading to your clients. I mean, that's defeating the purpose of what the SBC was supposed to do, when basically incorrect information is in there. There may be a small asterisk there somewhere that says you have to look down at the bottom to see that, oh, this is only after the deductible's been met. Well, that's not really what we want to show on a document. So even some of the data that the carriers have in some of these SBCs, I don't really like how it explains it. So even if it scrapes it 100% perfectly from the SBC, I would always personally go back in, tweak a few things, but instead of spending 5-10 minutes actually loading all the data in on the medical, the SBC would scrape the bulk of it, and all I had to do was make a couple tweaks. So I'd only spend a couple minutes and then save that plan. So across my block of business, for all of you out there that have a lot of MMO, grandmothered, Anthem grandmothered plans, where you're at that top tier $5,000 deductible 100% plan with Anthem or whatever, across your block, you never have to enter that same info again. And then if you're doing it for ancillary, you only have to load in ancillary stuff, once or twice, because then you can go back, and once you've loaded in, your 180/50 passive PPO dental, you can go in and just tweak a few things, change the plan name around, change the carrier name around, hit save plan, and now you've overridden and created a brand new plan in the plan library. So you don't even have to start from scratch each time. The system is geared to help you cut down on all that repetition and still give you a good looking product. So just wanted to throw that out there on the data entry piece. We have a lot of ways to, your first couple booklets, you'll enter in a few things, and then after that, once you get some plans saved, you just kind of fly through this system.
All right, thanks, Joe. So after the upload SBC button, which again Joe said is specific to the health insurance, we have the upload summary link, which can be used for each line of coverage. And what this is just takes a hyperlink and actually throws it in the plan name. You can use any sort of document you want here. A lot of sales calls, I would put in like a picture of Christina Aguilera or something just to get some laughs. But Joe had mentioned earlier that to meet their SBC requirement, agents weren't necessarily having to put it in the booklet. There was something else that they had. So that's kind of the feedback as to what we've gotten from what they're doing here is they will take that upload summary link. They'll throw a hyperlink in the plan name right here, and they'll put in the SBC actually right here to be able to meet their SBC requirement without having to send it off separately, or again, without having to put it in the booklet. Because I agree with Joe on that. We haven't had anybody that I've seen do that in a while. But when they used to, it just didn't really mesh with the rest of the booklet and just made it extra long and not as awesome looking. So yeah, there's that. There is the change booklet image. So I mentioned in step 1 that if you chose the stock photo theme, you could change up different images per line of coverage. So we have several different pre-populated ones for you. This is your medical. For your dental, you'll have like dentists, teeth, your dentist chairs, dental stuff like that, where you can do that. You can also, we have our tool in there. You could go in and create your own. And then if you did create your own, it could save it to your own image library, where you could have people like Chuck Norris and Avril Lavigne if you try hard enough. There is custom font size. You can mess with that. Anywhere in the system where there's a custom font size, you can save and preview. The idea being you're probably going to want to take a look at that page before you move on. If you're, again, if you're messing around with that font size. But this also has another new feature where you can actually bold the fields on the left-hand column, which I've done in the booklet because I really like the look of this. That's not the one, but right here. So if you go in and check that box, you can actually have these bold like that. So I like the look of it, so I did it in this booklet. And then there's also carrier logos. So if you wanted to add carrier logos, you could do that in here. Again, we have these separated out by lines of coverage here, and you could go in and choose one of them. We have several of the big ones here, but if there is one that we don't have all the smaller regional carriers. So if there's something that we don't have in here that you need, you can add it one time, and then it will stay in your library of logos to be able to use over and over. So yeah, from there, then you're just going through your different lines of coverage here, get to your STD, LTD, get down to your legal notices if you're building those out in the system. Cool thing about these, when you're adding a company in EB3, if you can add a company by simply putting in the company name. Company A, click save, you're ready to go build booklets, go for it. You can also put the logo in, and then there's about 7 or 8 additional pieces of information that we just highly recommend you put in if you're going to be building out legal notices or compliance documents in the system, because they will cut down on redundant data entry. So, for example, the best example is the marketplace notice. If you already know you're going to be building out notices and compliance documents, you add the company, you put in that extra information like your tax ID, your street address, items like that. You throw those in. For this notice in particular, it will go all the way down to under tax ID. All of this will already be populated based on the fact that you put it in the company screen and it pulled from there. So you'll have 3 drop downs and 2 boxes to fill out, and then that notice is complete. And again, that's just one of the notices. So if you're putting in multiple notices, and let's say the marketplace notice is one of them, putting it in just one time, you already made up that time. You already saved that. So as you see with like different notices in there, it will pull wherever applicable for those as well. So there's those. We have our wrap SPD. We have the POP, which is very, very, very quick to build out in the system as well. And then again, just finishing off and going through and putting in the plan, putting in the information in for whatever it is that you chose for this specific booklet. And then once you finish with that, you head over to step 5 for the rates and contributions. In this step, you have 3 different options. You can choose to not include rates. As you see, that will gray everything out. You're just saying, hey, not trying to show rates. Put all the information in. We just don't want to put rates on our booklet. Cool. Click that. It'll gray everything out so you can move on. If you already have the deductions, hey, we already have the deductions, just want to put them in the booklet. How do we do it? Just come, click the middle button for deductions only. Choose from one of the several different rate types we have. We have your composites, your incentives for your 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8, your ACA rates, your age banded, critical illness, accident. So yeah, choose one of these. And here is where you would select contribution type, but that's grayed out because you're just putting in deductions. The contribution area is grayed out. The premium area is grayed out. Again, all you're doing is coming down here and throwing in the actual deductions. Option 3, let's say you have the premiums, you have the contributions, you want the system to do the math for you. It absolutely can. Starting right up here, put in the correct number of pay periods. That's a big one right there. That's a big part of the equation is actually the number of pay periods. So it needs to be accurate. So accurate number of pay periods. You could throw in a rate guarantee, whether that's 12 or 12 months, 24. Write that in there. Again, choose a rate type. We'll just stick with the 2-tier composite. Now it's prompting you to select a contribution type. So for this, we'll just go forward and select percentage. As we go down the page, you see this is a dual option. So you have your 2 different options here. For option 1, we're going to go in and we'll put in contribution towards employee and towards dependents. So we'll put in 50 here, 25 for dependents. And then down below, you have your 2-tier setup because that's what I selected. So now it wants you to put in the premium. And so once you put in the premiums, the system will do the math and we'll kick out the deductions right here for you. From there, we also have a buy-up feature in the system. So if you need to do a base buy-up, you can absolutely do that. Just from working with people, like mentioned earlier, all across the country, people love to do things very differently. So doing the buy-up in our system, you can actually do it 2 different ways. You can show the buy-up from option to option, or instead of grabbing the dual option, let's say you wanted to do 2 single options, you could also show the buy-up from page to page. But very basics of what you're doing, you're copying and pasting the employer contribution per month. So we already have that in here for option 1. So we'll copy the contribution, go over to option 2. We're just going to click buy up, which is going to gray out the contribution area because we already have that. We'll go down and put in the new premiums. And then once you paste that employer contribution that you copied from option 1, you will have your deductions.
And so really on step 5, I mean, the big thing with step 5, with the base buy-up feature and just the calculations, we broke this whole process down, like Rich kind of went through step by step by step. And this is, really the last part of the system too. But what the intent here is to say, how many of you that are currently building these out on a manual process now, whether it's, through a PowerPoint document that you have, something that you bought years ago that you keep updating, or you're doing it in Canva or, InDesign or any of these things, all those are nice design tools, but at the end of the day, you still have to have, a separate like Excel document or get out the old trusty calculator to make all these calculations. We just wanted to make it super easy to do inside the system so that, it's taking you a few minutes. 9 times out of 10, for the majority of your groups, you're probably going to have, 2-tier, 4-tier. We even accommodate for Medical Mutual that has the 8-tier rate types that are in there. Even the ACA rates, doing the calculations for the ACA rates with 40 some age bands just takes forever. I mean, even, just getting the rates in there. So, we have that available for you too, to where it makes it just really, really easy to do. And then from there, after you have all the rates in, really the last portion of this, once you've gone tab by tab and you go over to the end, is that, you can now save and complete this or be done with it, or everything that you've done in steps 1 through 5, all the color schemes, everything that you've selected, how you've organized it, all the PDF documents you put in, all the information you put in step 4, all the rates and contributions you put in step 5, instead of having to redo that, if you do have some of those grandfather groups, if you have, a group, if you have some self-funded groups to where you've created similar plans with, a nice hospital network as a tier 1 or something like that, that you're, is very specific and you don't want to have to, recreate the wheel on everything, you have the ability to save all of that is a template. So you simply just click this button, which will appear once you're at the last tab of the last step that you're in, and you can save that template, store it, and then use that. Right in step one, there's a drop down. There's a drop down initially where you just select the template that you want, and within about 3 or 4 seconds, it populates an entire booklet for you. The only thing that it doesn't save is company information, because, well, you don't want company information transposed from company to company, so we just totally leave that out. But it's a nice time-saving feature. So as you can see, as you've gone along through the system, this is 100% geared toward employee benefits, and it's 100% geared towards, getting rid of repetition. It's getting rid of some of the things that if you're not big into graphic design, or you simply don't want to take the time to do that, because doing a benefit booklet and for a 15 life group and spending 3 or 4 hours on it is extremely cost prohibitive. Whether you're, as the agency owner, you're doing it yourself or you're paying somebody to do it, makes absolutely no sense. So going in here and doing this, and after you do your first few, spending 20, 30 minutes knocking this out, huge time saver for the cost that we ask for this. So Rich, I'll hand it back to you on that.
Okay. So yeah, once you're done there, then you're save and complete. Then that will take you back to your booklet screen, where you can do several different things under this booklet actions tab here. You can edit your booklet, which is what we just did. It'll take you right back into the 5-step process where you can jump around and make changes you want to make. You can make a copy of your booklet. So if you want to do a management class out, or you want to keep track of your booklets year to year, or some people are creating multiple booklets, some with legal notices, some without. They'll send the one with the legal notices off digitally, and if they have a presentation to make and they're doing printing and shipping, they'll take the one without the legal notices in, so to save a little money on printing and shipping, and not have anybody not look at those pages in the booklet itself. So copy it for whatever it is that you want. You can have an unlimited amount of booklets. These subscriptions are based on the amount of clients or companies that you're putting in the system, not booklets. You can delete the booklet, and then this is where you can access the booklet in all different ways. You can view it as what we were doing up above, where you can just take a look at it. Again, you can click on everything. You can still do the websites, but it's just not set up for to send it off. It's just setting it up for you to view it. You can download it as a PDF. You can grab our flip book. You can generate it as a booklet link, which will kick off if you click there, it will kick off to the email on your profile about 20-25 seconds. And then you'll have the link to be able to access the booklet that you can send off that way. Likewise, with the download Spanish booklet, again, about 20-25 seconds, it will translate the booklet and will send it to the email on your profile. It will translate all editable and non-editable text. So the one thing it will not translate any PDFs you drop in step 3. So what the feedback we typically get on that is, hey, we'll just grab the Spanish translated version from the carrier, because they're typically carrier documents. We'll translate the booklet and then just drop it in, and we have a fully translated booklet. So here are the compliance documents. So I had mentioned that those will not be part of the booklet, but they'll be on the booklet screen for you to download if you built those out. So if you build those out, those will populate right here for you. Again, click to download. QR codes for the booklet, Spanish book, and flip book. If you had any want or need for those, you can grab that here. It's exactly what it says. It's just the QR code. What a lot of people are doing, from what we've heard, the feedback we've gotten is that they're printing this off, and then they're actually creating like a small, like a mini poster or whatever, putting it up in the break room right next to the QR code. And we've gotten some really good feedback actually from that. Most likely because everybody has a phone and easy access to click and look at those. And then finally, the extras. So the election sheet. If you'd click the election sheet in step 2, filled out the rates in step 5, like was mentioned earlier, those will write directly to there. And then you will have an election sheet that you can download on the booklet screen. And so this is all coming, again, directly from step 5, which you put in. And then Joe had mentioned earlier where you can go in and make some edits in step 4 if you wanted to. And that would be these sections down here the dependent section and the election, and then the salary reduction agreement. So there's that. And then finally, under extras, there's also, if you put in the information in step 5, as a byproduct of the system, it will spit this out. And this is a premium breakdown sheet, which is showing all the math all in one place. So this is like one of Joe's favorite, if not his favorite part of the system.
I love this sheet. I used to create this manually for all my clients, and it was a huge pain and time consumer. This is like I think Rich just said, it's a complete byproduct of the system. So there's nothing else you have to do when you're entering in the information. This is here, and one use case that people actually had that I didn't even think of while I was actually using this was that they would go in, they would finish out the booklet, they'd get it all done, they'd take this premium breakdown sheet, they would email it off to the HR person or the owner of the company and say, hey, if you can you look this over, make sure that the math is correct, everything looks fine, all the deductions are fine, and sign off on it. And then once they signed off on it, then they would simply just download the booklet and send it off and be like, okay, booklet's done, here you go, because this is a byproduct. So by the time the booklet's done, this is what generates one of the reports that generates. And I thought that was a really smart idea to have the group sign off on it, because how often do you have the group be like, those weren't my rates? And it's like, well, yeah, they were. So plus I built this out just because it was a nice refresher. I couldn't tell you how many times, as you guys well know, if you've been doing benefits for more than 5 minutes, you know that somebody's going to come back to you during the year and be like, what's my monthly premium? How much am I contributing to this plan? What's the COBRA rates on the medical, dental, and vision? It's all here. It's all calculated for you, all ready to go based on whatever you load in.
Yep. So there's that. That's the benefit booklet builder. We also, so with those, you have an unlimited amount of booklets, no matter what subscription. But with that, we also have a microsite feature where you can have one microsite per client that you put in the system. So just show you what that looks like here. This is just like a finished product we have for our demo one here for our demo company. But you can, when you're building in the system, it's a super quick build. Agents are creating this for, the smallest of their companies or companies that they don't necessarily need to do a benefit booklet for. It's like, hey, you can just kick this out. It takes a lot less time. It's nice and easy to build. In the system, when you're building it, we have several different backgrounds for you to choose from. They're just like these scenic looks, like you have mountains here. You could have, like beaches. So we have those, or you could just do like a flat color, or you could upload your own picture, whatever you want in the background. The microsite and the booklet don't actually speak. They don't talk to one another. The only thing that does pull would be the logo and the company name, and that just pulls from the company screen. And you can easily change those if you wanted to change those. You could adjust the font size on those as you're going through and building this. We wrote in 2024 open enrollment, but again, you're just typing in whatever that it is that you'd like there as a title, and you can mess with the font size on that. Also in there, you can either upload a video from your client, or any video that you want to upload, you could upload in there. You can also create a video of either yourself and sharing your screen, or just sharing your screen. You could do that up to 5 minutes without downloading anything extra. You can easily do that right in our system. And here's Joe speaking.
To the microsite.
I always try to stop it on like the worst face ever, so that one's pretty good. Got your tongue stuck right in between your teeth there. That's nice, Joe.
Sure do. Thanks, Rich.
Down below, so you can put some additional text down right below the video if you choose to. But then under there, you have, we have these different folders where it's got, we put in just random stuff: health insurance, dental, vision, online enrollment. A big difference here between the benefit booklet builder and the microsite are the type of documents. So the booklet builder is all PDF, right? With this, you can put in any type of document you want. You can put in your PDFs, your Excel sheet, your Word document, and then as you can also see, there are links on here as well. So yeah, you can change the color of the folders if you don't want this maroonish red, maybe, whatever it is. you can choose to not have folders, and you could just put documents down on here if you wanted, whatever your preference, but just different options as to what you can do to actually put things on here. And then finally, just throwing in some contact information so that if they have any questions, they have somebody they can reach out to, and they can easily reach out by the click of a button on an email that will prompt them right to their email, pop right up to send something off.
And really, the website, everybody, is meant to. There's my picture again. Fantastic. The microsite was just something. This is something I used to give to my clients a long time ago. If you guys used to work with Ease back when they were Ease Central, they actually had something like this, and then they just got rid of it. They wouldn't do it anymore. And what I found is that, having people go through a lot of these Ben admin systems, the Ben admin systems are great at what they do, but people lose their usernames and passwords. They're not necessarily using them on a regular basis, and it's, when you do put in the documents, they have to go over to every single line of coverage. They have to go to, 5 different places before they get to the document that they're actually looking for. This is a great way to have something nice, colorful, right out there for them, that's mobile friendly as well, that you can, export to a link or a QR code, and, really have all those documents there. So you want to put in benefit summaries, SBCs, certificates of coverage, the wrap doc, the pop doc, all these different things that, that they need to have access to. It's in one nice, neat place. Plus, a few use cases for this, and I know we're getting short on time and I want to be able to answer some questions, but just a couple use cases on this. So this is great if you want to give it to any one of your groups. You can do this. This is included in the subscription. You get one microsite per company that you load in the system. So you can do it for all of them. Or, what about those small groups that you have that, you're sending them all their materials every year, but they don't have any turnover. It's been the same employees there for the last 20, 30 years. Do they really need a benefit booklet? If so, then go ahead and create one in the system. If not, these microsites take about 10 minutes. If you have all the documents together, not counting the time that you would take to get all the documents together, but on average, it's taken people about 10 minutes. You can even create a template of some of these that you've built if you have duplication across your block, to where it'll take less time than that. But, this is a great way for them to access all these documents. You can create a personalized video inside of our system. We actually have the software inside the system, so you don't have to download anything on your own. And then you can have all your contact information with your headshots. Hopefully they don't look like mine right there. Hopefully they look more like Chuck, if, on a good day. But, that way you can have all this stuff and your information is right there. That's what I didn't have, as I was using the Ben admin systems of the world. My information wasn't front and center for them. It is on this. And all you have to do is give them a link or a QR code. So you can do that. So you can use it for your real small groups. And honestly, you can prospect with these. Create a personalized video to the prospect that you're working with. Send them a flyer in the mail with the QR code on it, or send them an email with the link, or do both, and really prospect with this and create something specific for them. Show them what you can do and show them something that you can offer the clients. Put in a sample of a benefit booklet in there. Put in samples of open enrollment links to Navigator or Ease or Bernie Portal or whatever. You can have all that in there. There's a bunch that you can do with this and truly customize it. So, just a few thoughts on that. And before we open it up for questions, Rich, can you click on that link and just show them the pricing module?
Oh, yep. Let me move it over. Did it not move over?
No.
Nope. Okay. Well.
So while Rich is getting that up and ready, everything that you just saw in the system is included in the system. We don't have any like long drawn out. You can just click on the EB3 logo there, Rich, and just take it back to our regular pricing screen. They have the actual link there. But pricing's right out there. It's available for everybody. Everything that you see in the system is available in each of our subscriptions. The big difference is just how many clients you want to load in. So our base level subscription is $199 a month. You can load and save up to 75 clients. Within each one of those clients, you can have an unlimited number of booklets built out. You can have, one microsite per client, but you can do whatever. And again, all those features are in there. When you take a look at it in context, if it's costing, $300 to $500 just to create one wrap or one pop document for one client, you take a look at that and expand that out with the booklet builder, the wrap, the pop, the microsites, the translations, the flip books, the legal notices in there, all that information, all that stuff that you can generate, the $199 a month. I priced it so that it's less than the comp that you're earning on a 10 Life medical group, just to keep it easy. If you want to upgrade from there, you can at any time. And we don't have these long drawn out processes for you to sign up. You want to sign up, click on the link, go down, click subscribe now, put in your information. You have immediate access to the system, even if that's on a Sunday night and you have a meeting Monday morning you need a booklet for, it's right there. So that's the system. Everything's included. And with that, we'll stop so we can open it up for any questions.
Thanks, Joe. I do not see any questions.
Awesome. Rich, you did it.
We have the link out in the chat box to sign up if anyone's interested.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
I guess that's it.
Well, cool. Well, we got it under time, so that's fantastic. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today and watching. Really appreciate it. And thanks, Becky, and everybody from Cornerstone for having us. We really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye-bye.